Yo, hey people, what's going on? This is Black Raspberry Radio, live on S.STREET Media Radio, live360.com. I congratulate Brother Math, and I ain't gonna call him Math, I'm gonna call him Supreme Mathematics. Supreme Mathematics, for inviting me back to speak my opinion and giving me an outlet for freedom of speech, because freedom of speech ain't so free anymore in this day and time. Because if you say something wrong, you are going down. There's a lot going on in this world. An eclipse of the sun just happened. People at the job was going crazy. I just sat down and continued pushing out child support checks. Like, the reason why I just stayed sitting down is because it's cloudy in New York from pollution, and I'm not really getting the full effect, but you know, it did get kind of dark. And they did said that Nat Turner made a move during the eclipse of the sun back when, you know, I'm not going to be a slave anymore. I think Nat Turner did that maybe in the 1700s, if I'm not mistaken, maybe the early 1800s. But like I said, the world is in chaos right now. We got wars going on everywhere, and they just said that Donald Trump's bond that he posted is not really a bond. They saying that $175 million that was put up is not real and not real legit. I say, let that man run. Let the power be into the people. The Democrats, I don't know why y'all so scared. Y'all really scared of him. It's so chaotic. If you side with Trump, they said that Harriet Tubman warned us about them. So did Harriet Tubman also made y'all aware of that guy Joe Biden, one of the founding fathers of that crime bill? You know, like when you people gloat about the jail biz y'all did. I mean, because some people did long stretches, 20-year bids. I'm talking about the people that was overcharged being incarcerated for drugs, whether it's crack cocaine, whether it's heroin, whatever. It's just that when a Negro got caught with those things, it was overly charged. And it shouldn't have been that way. That was very unfair, Mr. Joe Biden. And I noticed that when you Democrats do need a vote, y'all always come to the Negro church, because the Negro church will get you some votes with their congregation. It was I had a conversation with somebody some years ago, and it was like, you know, you always talking about Joe Biden and his crime bill, and what about Ronald Reagan and George Bush? They was also orchestrators of that bill. I said, you know what? You are absolutely right. And you know the reason why they did come down to the church, because maybe someone in the church child was ragged and tagged from drugs. I'm like, oh, you know what? You do got a point there. And if that elected official came to that pastor of the church and said that I need your congregation to swing their vote this way, because look what the crack cocaine epidemic did to people. It crushed my community really bad. Between crack cocaine and AIDS, that's just something that you can't forget. We cannot forget those times of those people that's going. But you know, enough of those sad times. What's going on in the music industry? Puff Daddy. I feel so bad for the victims. People was victimized by what was going on with Puff. Between you and Suge Knight, it's just something so crazy. And you know what? It's this guy named Reggie Wright. You know, I know I'm jumping a little bit. I'm gonna talk about Tupac. It was something that he said about Tupac, that Tupac thought that he was going back to jail because Tupac was out on an appeal bond and for the rape charge. And they said that he was telling one of the outlaws that you're going to have to put a bullet in my head because I'm not going back to jail. And it's like, what if Tupac just didn't fight for his life when he got shot? You know, I just wanted to touch that right quick. What is the state of the the music business, publishing, because you are not selling any records, hard copy records anymore. Everything is built in publishing right now. So if you own the rights to the songs, and I guess if you get 1 billion streams, then I guess that, you know, you get paid for what you're doing. The music business. You know what's crazy? When I see when people, their whole album chart. How does your whole entire album chart? The whole album, you got 20 songs, and you got 20 songs on the Billboard, you got 20 songs on Apple, you got 20 songs on Spotify. Like, how does that happen? I just don't get that there. But you know what? I'm gonna bring this back full circle. I'm gonna bring it back to S.STREET Media. I'm gonna talk about Brother Math right quick. And for all those that's listening and everyone that falls under the S.STREET Media umbrella, you gotta give your flowers, as they say, your roses, your Hennessy, your weed, whatever, to Math, because Math has kept this thing going. Even when the world was almost coming to an end, Math still put on a show. Math still brought his ass here to record his show. And the universe is going to bless this man with at least with $1 quadrillion. Someone is going to come and see this work. Someone that's really big, and got the dollars to back it, to give this man, because I praise him for giving an outlet and having a place for a Negro like me to go, to listen to some music, listen to some upcoming artists, and everything like that. I'm gonna jump to something else. My children. And I'm not just gonna say my children, I'm talking about the children of this generation. Y'all need to take heed to the word of those who have cometh before you. Like I tell my children, I wasn't such a good student in school. That doesn't mean that you should not be an excellent student in school. Try to soak up as much information as you possibly can, so you can use the information that you get now so you can have for the future, okay? There's nothing wrong with reading a book. There's nothing wrong with actually picking up a pen and actually writing. Because I think that today's generation, y'all kind of dumped down by the phone. Y'all got it really easy. I had to go to a museum to look up things. Where today, y'all don't have to look up anything. Y'all can look on your phones and look up whatever you want to. You can explore the whole planet within your phone. Imagine that you had to go to a library and look through an encyclopedia that was this big. And it was different letters from A through Z. So y'all kinda got it good, so y'all would be able to excel in life. Now, I want to go to the politics in Brownsville. I was in the hospital about 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I had pulled my back. And as I'm there, I had bumped into one of my elders, and he said, Latrice Walker, the assemblywoman, the state assemblywoman for Brownsville, that district, District 55. And so, we got some funding going on, which they rebuilding Brookdale, and emergency room sucks. There's no confidentiality, there's no privacy, there's no nothing. But it's what I'm saying is, you got a bunch of American blacks, and no disrespect to the diaspora, as they say, whether it's the Caribbeans, the Africans, and the black Americans, but it's just that the black Americans was just sitting up there in this emergency room looking like cattle. while I'm watching the other Negroid races as the nurses. But I'm looking at the Caucasoid races over there in the corner just laughing. And it made me think, I'm like, you know what? Regardless of what funding you have, where is the seeds to procreate a black doctor? Because I have known a lot of people in my day at Brookdale, and it could be any hospital anywhere around this planet, that I noticed when a lot of people that I've known, oh, he got shot in his leg, but he died. Damn, he just got shot in the leg. Or he got shot in the arm. Sometimes bullets travel. Sometimes if you get hit with a deuce, that deuce bullet will get up in your artery and kill you. Oh, son only got hit with a deuce. Son only got hit with a quarter water. But sometimes those bullets travel and they move. But I just think that if you have black doctors that we plant and we raise, they would care. I had a friend, and I wanted to go crazy at the funeral. They was like, yo, Lorenzo, you want to say anything? I'm like, no, I wrote the obituary for him, for my man's sake. I wrote that. Me and my friend Michelle Bostic, she proofread it. And I'm sitting up there just looking at people up on the stage talk about sick, and I'm hearing his whispers. Like, get up and say something. Get up and say something. And I'm in my mental, I'm like, nah, this is not the time. And maybe it would have been a time for me to say, how is it that my friend got shot 4 blocks away from Brookdale Hospital and the ambulance drove past the hospital to get him to Brookdale, knowing that Brookdale would be a hub because Brownsville and East New York continues with their craziness, and you should have those kind of doctors because it's a war zone. I don't give a damn how good Elmhurst is, or maybe Queens Hospital, or what's their hospital, Kings County Hospital is. We're talking about distance. You could have a person that graduated from Johns Hopkins, or somebody who had graduated from MIT as the best doctor inside Kings County Hospital that know how to pull bullets out of people, but look at the distance. From Brownsville to Kings County Hospital, that's at least 20 minutes. He was just 4 blocks away, only to be told, well, you know, we don't have those kind of doctors inside Brookdale. How could you not have those kind of doctors at Brookdale, knowing that Brownsville is a war zone? Brownsville, East New York, East Flatbush, Canarsie. It's either that we get some better doctors, or us Negroes, you know the speech, we need to put the damn guns down and stop killing each other, because chances are you getting shot, you're going to die. Even if you get shot in your pinky toe. It's just really sad. Back to I want to jump back to Donald Trump and Joe Biden. And I'm sorry, y'all, if I'm jumping around. I'm a little rusty at doing this, but we getting through this. Why is it that people fear Donald Trump? I want to know why. Oh, he's racist and he this and he's that. I want y'all to take time and look up Propaganda Joe. I want you to look him up. Look at his words he used in the late 70s, coming into the 80s about black people. He's that Dixiecrat. That's who Joe Biden is. He's a Dixiecrat. America is America with Donald Trump or Joe Biden sitting there because it's written in the Constitution. 2/3 of a man, 1/3 of a man. It's known that the American Negro or the descendant of slaves is not considered a whole human being, period. So regardless who sits at the head of Babylon, America is still going to be America, regardless of what. Oh, I ain't voting for the red-haired man and the this and the that and the this. Again, America is going to be America. And I think that America, we need to stop with trying to silence free speech. Because some say that, well, you know, if he wasn't able to say that, then it wouldn't be. They wouldn't draw that kind of crowd. That's like you telling Minister Farrakhan to shut up completely, which some outlets have tried to silence the minister. Oh, he's deemed this, and he's deemed that everybody's still supposed to have that right to free speech, and let the listener absorb it the way that they want to absorb it. Some people, I guess, they become fanatics and they get crazy and they get buck wild and start shooting up things, you know, not that part. But I just think that we should not be limiting free speech, because what if free speech was limited? Where would hip hop have gone? Shout outs to the 2 Live crew. Shout outs to Luther Campbell at the time, Luke Skywalker at the time, for fighting for that. Thank God for NWAs. Fuck the police. Because without that, somebody says that the people now stands on the shoulders of people of then. And you rappers that's now, if it wasn't for NWA and the 2 Live crew, who knows if you would be able to feed your families at what you're doing right now. It would have been, hip hop would have been so far underground, it'd be far underground like we living in a dictatorship. Like somewhere in Russia or somewhere in China, where your voice can barely be heard. So you know what? I want to say thank God for them. But hold on, let me jump back to hip hop. I've asked this question a lot. Who's better, Eric Sherman or Dr. Dre? They both use the same samples, I guess, but I think that maybe Dr. Dre has more commercial success than Eric Sherman, but Eric Sherman is a beast. Dr. Dre has sold a lot of records, but Eric Sherman is a beast, because I was listening to, I think it was the Drink Champs, or it was another one of the podcasters, and he was talking about how he did this song with Metro Boomin, and saying that he owns just 4% of a song, 4% of the song, because they used the drum line from I'm a Customer, boom 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 boom, which that is used a whole lot. He said he gets $240,000 every quarter. Every quarter. Oh man, that's a lot of money. That's a lot. Puff Daddy. I remember Puff Daddy used it for Come and Talk to Me. He used it for the Come and Talk to Me on remix. Poor Puff. Puff, I think you're going down. I don't want you to go down. I don't look forward you. I don't want you to go down. But they out for sexual deviance. I mean, I don't know who you recorded in your room. I don't know if it was some politicians you recorded. I think that you should have destroyed, after you settled with Cassie, you should have went up in there and destroyed everything. Erased everything. Not erased it. You should have posted stockpile some of that stuff, not opening your mouth, telling people when you was going to dump that stuff at. Because they coming for you, y'all. And Suge Knight, I think that everyone of that time, whether it's Craig Mack, whether it's Biggie Smalls, whether it's Black Rob, G-Dep, or any other artist that felt like they got raped, and I don't want to use that word like that got taken advantage of with their publishing rights and feeling like Puffy, you wasn't paying them. They are saying the chickens done come home to roost. Wait a minute, I want to jump to this. You know what? I was watching this movie series, The Godfather of Harlem. Listen, I'm about to go left, or I might go right, or I might be coming up the middle. Bumpy Johnson. All praise be due to Bumpy Johnson. I mean, even though you sold a lot of heroin and, you know, a lot of people died from them drugs, but it was actually their choice to use the drug. But the part with Malcolm X and how it led up to Malcolm X getting killed. Like, I don't know if this is 100% factual. I don't know. But please don't tell me that Malcolm X kind of died over a bitch. Please. Malcolm X, with his charisma, and you had angry generals, angry ministers that was in the Nation of Islam that was kind of jealous of Malcolm because it became... It's like Busta Rhymes and leaders of the new school. Diana Ross and the Supremes. It's like sometimes that one person in that group stands out. Like Beyonce and Destiny's Child. Michael Jackson and the Jacksons. Bobby Brown and New Edition. It's like sometimes that person just stands out. Like, I'm just a standout. I'm standing out. The sun is shining on me a little bit more than the group, and it's kind of ain't my fault because the people chose. The people chose, but I would hope that Brother Malcolm didn't get killed over no woman. I really hope not, and I wish that Brother Malcolm didn't die. Period. Because we needed that leadership from Malcolm X. We sure enough needed it. Again, how long we got, Brother Math? We got 10 more minutes. How you feel about Suge Knight podcast? Oh, Suge Knight. Thank you, Brother Math, for throwing me a kite. Suge Knight's podcast. Suge Knight's podcast is pretty good, but sometimes, Suge, you sound like you're hating a bit. I think that you had $300,000,1996 that you jacked off. Or, check this out. You didn't have liquid. There's a difference between you having liquid and you having assets, in the case in point with Mr. Trump. Your assets says that you're worth $7 billion, but how much cash flow do you actually have in the bank? And Death Row did not have that. When you look at how the way Suge Knight was spending that money, because Suge Knight had to pay back taxes, he had to pay mad lawsuits even when he was in jail, even when they settled with the Tupac estate. There is a difference between you having assets. Michael Jackson, for example. Michael Jackson, he owns the Beatle catalog, but how much cash do you have in the bank? But I think that if you have the Beatles catalog, you 3, 4, 5, 6 billion deep. I mean, I don't need cash. Let me get a sandwich on credit. Send that invoice to my account and you get paid. So there's a difference between you having cash and you having those them assets. Hold on, let me say this within these next 9 minutes. Gentrification. Gentrification, today, you cannot say that gentrification just happened in one certain area. Gentrification happened all over New York. The only ones that really should be mad about gentrification is the rats. Because the rats have to move. The rats been in these lots for maybe what you can go all the way back to when things were starting to get burned down, like when Martin Luther King got killed, or the 1977 blackout, things like that, when neighborhoods were burnt down, or when certain property owners were burning their buildings down to get insurance. Those rats lived in these lots for 30 and 40 years. Everywhere you turn, there is a new building. that means that there should be nobody homeless. Whether you have it for low income, moderate income, high income, or rich income, there is not supposed to be a homeless problem. But what happened at the border? A lot of people don't want to touch that issue. I'm just tight because it sucks up the resources from our children. How is it that all of a sudden you got all this money and you're able to house and you got these jobs, but you didn't have no jobs for the people that was already here? And I don't want to play the race card with the Negroes and the Latinos and the whites. I don't want to play it like that, but it's like how all of a sudden you got all this equity and you got all this funding. You have all of this now. So that tells me that capitalism is a fluke. Look, the pyramid. The people at the bottom it upholds the people that's up at the top. There never was supposed to be nobody homeless if you're able, for people who have jumped over the border because their countries is jacked up. Then if their countries are so jacked up, United States, why you just gonna go over there and take it over? Why don't you do that? Why don't you pick up your guns, Biden or Trump, whoever gets in office, pick up your guns and go seize their government. Go put their guns in their face like you did Manuel Noriega for letting cocaine come through the Panama Canal. It's easy. Go down there and make that part of the United States because the resources is being sucked up. But then again, all them damn red light speed camera tickets that I got, so that's what's funding. Because the mayor in the last 3 months, he said, oh, I found $5 billion. You just said that the city didn't have no money, but you just found $5 billion. What are we going to do with the immigration? Because people are not being vetted. The FBI is saying that, oh, we need to be on point. How dare you tell the people to be on point? Because we don't know that we might be under attack, but you let the people come through the border like that. Not saying that you let them come through the border, but all the ones that you captured, you're not checking and vetting them. A lot of these people haven't even gotten vaccinated for certain things, which a lot of people is against vaccinations, but what are you bringing to the country? Yes, I know that my skin is brown. I know that my skin is black. My name is Lorenzo. Some of my descendants is from Honduras. I understand all that. But to my grandmother, bitten by dogs, her generation, bitten by dogs, sprayed with water hoses, you telling me, you're saying that you're saying that grandma, the hardships that the generation before us it was for everybody on the planet just to come suck up the American dream? I mean, that's right. And if you talk out loud, for some reason, Democratic elected officials or supporters of the Democrat Party, it's like, it's no different than race. It's no different than black and white. You Democrat, you Republican, I'm Crippin', you blood. It's like humankind always going to have these differences in ideologies, but is it fair? Is it fair? Is it fair that you could not supply these kids with jobs, but you could supply somebody else with jobs just like that because they crossed the border? You're supposed to send them back, and you're supposed to come through it how the way you're supposed to come through it in the system. Again, if Venezuela and no Central American country, I mean, even people from China, you got people flying into the United States and you just letting them in like Biden. Like, what is wrong with that? I'm going to say this other thing in closing. I was at a community meeting and this lady was like, don't let the oppressor brainwash you because these people are coming here. Don't let them brainwash you to believe. Don't let them brainwash you to believe that it's wrong. Like, because I'm a socialist. I'm like, wait a minute. You telling me the guy from Amazon? You're telling me Bill Gates? You're telling me any other human being, whether black or white, if they come with a great and good idea, I'm not supposed to be paid for it, for that? That's like you having the best doctor. Should the best doctor be paid that? Should the best doctor be paid a small salary? No. He should be paid a high salary because he's good at what he do. And if anyone has a great idea, like my brother Math that's sitting here, they should be paid for what they do. Handsomely, show them the money. How many more minutes, brother? One more minute in closing. I would like to say that we're going to have to get out there and vote. I don't know who you're going to vote for, but I know that my vote is going with Donald Trump. And I've always said this over my S.STREET media lifespan. Mike Tyson. Because I really don't feel that the Mike Tyson come up. We talking about the Mike Tyson come up from 1986 to 1990 to the time that he lost against Buster Douglas. You got to give Donald Trump his props for hosting the circus. You need an event that, what you call that? The ringmaster. He was the ringmaster. Fendi. Boy, oh boy. And it's kind of crazy that I forgot to talk about you, but I'm gonna talk about you right quick because on the next show I'm gonna talk about you. I have received a phone call from the brother man, and the brother man said, "Yo, I need you to talk about me." I'm like, "You want me to talk about you? You want me to talk about how you got ran out of Brownsville?" I mean, this and I know the story that it's not like that, but to the people that live there, they always say, "Damn, that nigga got ran out of Brownsville." But in any case, at one point in time, Fendi was supposed to have gotten me this internship with this guy by the name of Puff Daddy, and that was 1991. And luckily, I didn't make it to that event because those people got killed. Because there was a bad drug deal that happened. This was 1991. It's supposed to be a statute of limitation. It was something that happened bad with the re-up. And we didn't make it to City College. December the 27th, December the 28th, 1991. I will never forget that because that was my first year out of high school. And I was going to Long Island University. I'm like, yo, Fendi, yo, Eric, you got to get me this internship with this guy named Puff Daddy. That's when Puff Daddy was still doing these party promotions. And his name is popping up on Father MC's records, Heavy D's records. Later on, Mary J. Blige's records. Doing A&R for guys. So it's, you know, there's a love and there's a compassion for Mr. Puff Daddy, you know. So Fendi, I'm gonna get back to you on your story, and I'm not gonna try to bury you because I got a lot of shit that I want to get off about you. You know, I don't want to use you as the stepping ladder of my platform, but you told me to talk about you, and I'm gonna talk about you, brother. So in closing, sending a shout out to S.STREET Media. This is Black Raspberry Radio, and you can check me out on S.STREET Media Radio Live 360.com every day, Monday through Friday at 1 o'clock. 365. 360 is, you know, 120, 120, and 120, but 365, y'all. And 365 means every day. I'm going to say it again. That S.STREET Media Radio Live at 365.com. Peace, y'all.